All the saisons, I think, are wonderful. I think of my career as just like being on the inside of a balloon. And you're trying to explain to people what it may look like from the outside. I don't know what it looks like from the outside. Trying to make a balloon look like something from the outside, from the inside is a pretty complicated thing. Eventually you just give up and let it take the shape it is. I'm a writer, that's all. If you're born in New York and you spend your first 70 years there, you're a New Yorker. I was born at Harlem Hospital. I grew up on 7th Avenue, where my father had a funeral parlor. His business was on the ground floor, and we lived on the second and third floor. Oh, I wanted to be everything. I wanted to be a psychiatrist, and I wanted to be a nuclear physicist, and I wanted to be a singer and a music arranger. But I decided to put my effort into the writing, which is what I've done since. There are two kinds of dwellings. There are barracks and there are hovels. I've always lived in a hovel. Mr. Levy. I made my first attempt to write a novel when I was 13 or 14. And I finished one at 15 called Scavengers, which if you have read Dahlgren, which was written 10, 12 years later, seems like a very similar idea. There was a lot of scavenging in Dahlgren. I have never been particularly concerned with the genre, but I started off publishing science fiction. And so for most people, I'm a science fiction writer. I never thought of myself as that. Science fiction chose me. My wife was an editor at that time, a small science fiction company, and so I wrote a book for her, the first one that got published, a book called The Jewels of Aptor. And that started the first genre in which I made a name. I don't think of myself as ever predicting anything. Prediction has never been what, for me, science fiction was ever about. Rather, it's training for thinking about difference. And so that when we do have a different way, it doesn't come and blindside you. I used to have a telephone. Now I only have a cell phone. The cell phone has got to be one of the most awkward pieces of technology. Inefficient cell phones are something I don't think we were ever taught how to deal with in science fiction. I just like walking and looking and walking. I'm always finding out things that are fairly common knowledge to certain whole groups of people that I'd never encountered. Why? I was too busy writing.
There's very few artists of any kind who are like Chip Delaney. The fact that he just wrote banger after banger after banger, just classic, vital, important, weird, funky, irresistible novels and books of nonfiction. I mean, Chip Delaney goes from strength to strength. You rarely get anyone like this. The impact that he had as an African-American science fiction writer cannot be exaggerated.
Eventually he worked. Writing takes up a lot of time, and it takes up more time for me because I have dyslexia. Where other people can get by with one superb, brilliant draft, I have to write 5, 6, 7, 12 drafts. Something like Through the Valley of the Nest of Spiders was about 7 years. And while I'm busy writing, the world is always busy changing. And you see, this thing fell over and shattered. They were going to fix it and put it all in a new piece of glass. He said, not on my life. He said, chance is a big part of what goes on. You break the glass, that's part of the artwork. I write the kinds of books that I wish I could find to read, and if I'm lucky enough, they survive and actually get into print. What influences what gets published? Chance.